on Saturday, November 5th, 2022. Some friends and I went to the Quartz gathering in Quartz Mountain in Oklahoma. Excuse the birdie.
That's too small. Shit, I may need some big gear here.
All the way up to 3?
Huh?
Sit up to 3. Get it?
Well, I got the 3 in there.
You want something else? Something?
Yeah, I'll just climb it.
I always start my videos with the safety piece already in, so I climb up, I put the safety piece in, down climb. I know it's not considered on-site, but I think it's still considered a flash since I don't fall anywhere or ask for a take. The climb is called Texas Cruise. We had to do it since a bunch of us were coming from Dallas. It's a 5.8 supposedly, but a little run out in sections, as you'll see, and hard to protect.
Yeah.
Georgia's belaying me. She's from Oklahoma. She's a fellow crusher and an Oklahomie. Also got to meet Miles Johnson earlier that day. I follow his channel and all the climbs that he's put up at Mount Scott and in Quartz Mountain. If you're at Quartz Mountain, I recommend checking out Rush Hour and Rush Hour 2. Rush Hour 2 is like a 5.8, good warm up for Rush Hour 1. And it should be bolted by the time you guys see this video. The bolt line is supposed to run in the middle between both routes and protect both routes, so that's pretty cool. Got to try it on top rope. Flashed both. What you could call top roping flash. Blue point, I guess. Anyway, back to this climb. I paused the recording here because I didn't know whether this was a good place to place gear and have Georgia follow, but I decided to continue climbing. As you see, I'm a little run out. Luckily there's stuff here eventually. I was getting a little nervous. You can hear me say, shh. That's me quieting attempting to quiet down my demons. They're saying you're gonna fall. Anyway, I took a breather. Kept going. If I had to describe Quartz Mountain, I would say run out slab, hard to protect trad, and very old school. See, they didn't push the grades, but they made up for it with the mental game that you need to have. So even though this is rated 5.8, I would recommend that you be at least a 5.10 climber. I destroyed this cam in this crack. It's decommissioned. Georgia got it out, but the lobes were no bueno. I had to cut there because I was also trying to get it out with my nut tool. With no success. Georgia got it out though. This climb took us a long time, especially since I couldn't find the true top out in the guidebook and on Mountain Project. It wasn't really clear where you should stop climbing and start climbing to the right, or trying to find a gully to down climb. So we just kept climbing and climbing long after I stopped recording, and it got dark. But luckily, we found the gully, and at the bottom of the gully was Terry, a guy that we met when we got down, and who was from Houston. And next to him was Graham, and I got to meet Graham the next day. Probably the only other person with footage of Quartz Mountain that I know of. So this was on a Saturday. The next day we did maybe 1 or 2 climbs before having to leave, but the rest of the crew stayed, and we got to climb with Alicia. It was another crusher, another Oklahoma. She's featured in the guidebook for the Wichitas and Quartz Mountain by Tony Mays. Gabriel was there as well, Gabriel Smiley. We saw him earlier at Palm City, a 5.7 run out slab, and I was surprised to see him because he and Jim Day develop out in around Cleburne, Texas, Glen Rose, and what other city? Rio Vista, Blum, in that area. It's all Chas, but hey, it's close to
Ooh, that
DFW.
was a move. Jesus Christ.
That was probably the 5-8 part. The crux of the climb right there. There's one part where you have to be pretty tall or just make a dynamic move, which I think is a little stout. I paused again right there to see whether I should traverse to the left and set up another anchor, which is why you see me on the bulge all of a sudden, because I decided against it and kept going. Placing a bunch of camps, so I thought, oh, it's time to place a nut. You could tell if you've been watching this that I take a very long time to place things, but reviewing this footage, it's really helpful because I see how long I take to do things and how I place things, and in retrospect I learn a lot. I didn't really need to place this nut because the anchor was coming up, but I didn't know how close I was to the anchors because I didn't look up. I was very focused and in the moment. A lot of trial and error. That golden one was bomber. I think I have too many nuts on that carabiner. And I've never been able to place a micro nut that was bomber. I placed one behind a flake on a climb called Kerplunk at the Wichitas. Behind a flake, but it wasn't bomber. I wouldn't whip. Almost dropped on that earlier. It kind of just fell into the crack and stayed there until I was able to pick it up and put it back on the carabiner. I should have extended that alpine draw. I'm standing, that's the most comfortable lay stance, and then I built an anchor in the cracks right above.
Second pitch, is it facing you?
It's facing straight down.
Facing straight down?
Yeah.
Is that better?
Probably.
Okay.
I think it's gonna capture your hands. It's gonna do what your hands are.
That's what we
See what
want.
your hands are doing. You got it.
I didn't want to fall here, so I placed a nut. And that gave me the confidence to pull over the bulge. You can see there how I built my anchor. 3 pieces and a 75 on the left, an orange alien on the right, as well as a 0.5 BD.
Good job.
I clipped into the orange alien and the 0.5 BD. I don't know if I should have done that, honestly.
Feel much
The
better
big golden piece was
if
bomber.
that's there.
Go for it.
It was the big golden piece, not the smaller one that I placed earlier.
Great job.
Oh, fuck. Oh my god,
Good job.
that is hard.
All right, you did it.
Ah.
Good work. Take a break.
Ooh.
And then tell me it gets easier, or we can just rock down right
5'8".
The bulge didn't work out, so we're traversing.
Yeah, so there was an unprotectable, I guess off width, but I couldn't really get my body in, so I had to traverse and place the bad piece, and there was a lot of rope drag, and it was still sketchy going out right and having to pull on small holds. I was basically belly flopping and scooting up little by little. Little pebbles were flying off. I had a moment of fear, but I found some good crimps. Pulled, and once I had my feet on, I felt much better. So here I am trying to wedge my body in so I'm not using my strength. And then the pieces were also getting in the way, and the camera. the helmet was coming down into my eyesight. I really need to get a new helmet. That one's way too heavy. I'm just searching for something good with the right hand. Couldn't find anything the first time, so I sat back down. Gathering myself mentally. Enjoying the view. The sun is starting to set, I think. Oh, it was dark when we finally got off of this climb. Good thing we took our headlamps. Shout out to Terry for suggesting we do so. Tried to grab the top of that. That was not a good idea. There's nothing. It's blank. A tiny little pocket for my left finger. That was the only thing keeping me secure. Anyway, I kept reaching out and I found something. I think about there. Yeah, that's the crimp. Now I needed to find something on the left. Palming down and just contemplating putting my left foot up. Then I remember I need to move all that gear, and so I do. You could hear a truck in the background, and it just kept coming and coming and coming. It was hauling some empty, might have been garbage bin. Oh, that thing was rattling. And it was very far away. It just kept getting closer and closer, and that's all I could hear. Okay, there's the foot. Palming down. And a little higher and trusting that left hand. Sort of a crimp. If there's something higher. That was just bottom. That's it right there. And so, as soon as I pulled up, I just stopped the recording because I thought, this is going on for too long, and that was probably the crux. After that, I traversed back left, and right now I'm at the top of that off-width that I said that I couldn't climb. So there's a lot of rope drag. Anyway, the rest is pretty cruiser. I get to the top and I stop recording there because I get confused whether I should go out right and keep climbing on this unprotectable boulder, or just keep going straight. However, there's a gully And so I decide to make another anchor and have Georgia follow, and it ended up being the right call. That was the end of the second pitch and the end of the climb. But there was a little bit of a slab part that I didn't want to climb. So I went around, and it was getting dark at that point, so once I got around, I set up an anchor so that Georgia would follow the slab, and basically we kept going up and to the right until we found a way down. Down, we ate, and then into the cave where everybody was playing music, having some drinks. There was a competition to see how many pull-ups you could do in a hand crack trainer. I could jam my hands in pretty well, but the wood was slick, so I fell out after 2 repetitions. Anyway, when you see this boulder at the top, that's where the gully is, and you should climb the slab that's right in front of it.